Hello everybody and welcome, it's VeDAN here, so glad that you can tune into another video. Today, I have my run to kill Bloonarius in 38 seconds, super casually, okay? This is a very easy boss because he's got very little health. The awkward thing, of course, is tier 1. NK have put us in an awkward position for tier 1. But basically, I will try and refine a farming strategy and get that out for tier 1 because it's a bit of a pain. And mine was certainly suboptimal. It basically just involved getting a 0-2-3 farm down, then I got a Dart Monkey down, then I got Quincy down, and then a Boomerang down, and then obviously to start spamming marketplaces. And that did enough to be able to afford 3 Spike Storms. Now, I thought my eco would be better than what it is, but that tack shooter that I got there to defend was pointless because you need to get at least 2 of the Spike Storms to be crossed path with the upper path, okay? So you need at least 2 of them to be 1 Vor 0. Now, after getting infuriated by the defense for this tier, I actually do something very suboptimal, but we insta-kill it, we spam them, and then I actually get the Blade Maelstrom ability, okay? I get a 0-5-0 tack right at the end of the map just to do it because I was getting really annoyed. Ideally, you just want to use 0-4-0 tacks, which relies on getting better eco than what I did after tier 1, okay? So we're in a very bad position here with less than 20k. Less than 20k after tier 1. But I end up basically just working with a bloon trap or 2 bloon traps in range of a monkey city and farm from there. I then get 2 bloon traps, a 0-3-0 engineer to remove camo, and then spam 5 marketplaces in range of the monkey city and then upgrade them to central markets. Once this is done, at the end of 57, so during 58, I then start working on getting my Pspike down, okay? Make sure as well you get your glue set up and stuff. All you need is an overclocked Pspike, and I tell you what, you could probably get this down on 59, okay? The spike pile that's left is just ridiculous. So you could get this down at 59. You don't really need to worry at all. You also don't really need to have a tack in front of it. So once again, make sure you've got a 0-5-0 tack to defend. And then just watch this. I mean, the glue doesn't even get a chance, really. It goes that quick. And then just spam the tack ability and you're sorted. So this is going to be a really interesting run because tier 1 will be the deciding factor. Try and make sure you can insta-kill it, and it's going to be annoying because it's probably going to rely on, like, pixel perfectly timed, abilities, which is not fun. So, I don't know what the top 50 is going to be, but I'm going to, hint that it's going to be very, very tight. So, just be careful of that. If you get, a bit fed up with trying to cut off a few milliseconds, I'd recommend just to play co-op. But like I said, this is second in the world. And luckily, even with that terrible, terrible eco, I managed to get a overclocked Banana Central next to a Monkey City right down after tier 2. Now I did also get 2 overclocks down because I want to keep the overclock on the Banana Central continuously, okay? You want to time the overclock so that no matter what, the Central's overclocked. And then for defense, super easy, just a primary village, an alchemist, and 2 tack zones with a recursive cluster. This does it right until 75. On 75, I just got another recursive cluster, and it did everything fine. You can also use Quincy's arrows ability as well. That helps out a ton. So now it's going to be super easy from here because what we need to defend is super, super cheap. Of course, for the next tier, we're going to do the exact same thing with a Pspike, but we're just going to buff it a little more. So during, at the end of 76 or 77, you can probably get this down a couple rounds later. So you could probably keep farming a bit more. But this is my first run, so I wanted to be safe. What we're going to do, exact same, but instead I'm going to also get a Homeland down to help out, okay? I'd always recommend getting Homeland down. And make sure, so I have 4 overclocks here. The way I wanted 4, at least, and obviously this is suboptimal farming, but I wanted 4 so I could have 1 always down on the central, so the central's perpetually overclocked, and then I want the spikes to be always overclocked, okay? That was the thought process behind it. Because I'm a little bit short on money, all I'm going to do is just sell a couple farms. It doesn't matter, we're going to end up snowballing hard. So just make sure that you can get a Homeland down to be safe and just use the ability and overclock on the Pspike pile. And you're going to have a huge pile so big that it's probably going to do a few rounds in the 80s for you with no defense. I didn't need to get my plane down for a good 3 or 4 rounds. I could just put farms down instead because the spike pile left was that immense. Now what I also do is I usually get a tack zone just in front. I know that's a bit of overkill, just to try and take away as many pops as I can from the spike pile. That's not needed though, but it's just a little habit that I always have just to be safe. So I always think, because we're relying on an insta-kill, sometimes just go a bit OTT, as in you're better safe than sorry in this scenario, right? Now, also, just make sure you get the tack down. And all we're going to add here now, is just a few more debuffs. So we've got a super brittle down, we've got a cripple mobe down, we have our glue ready, and then we're just going to shred. We're going to wait for him to spawn in, then we're going to use the glue ability. Doesn't really do anything because it's dead before you can even use the ability. And there we go. Super satisfying to see boss kills like that. I'm guessing that Elite is probably going to have a world record time, so it's going to be super interesting. And also, feel free to join the Discord chat as well. We're heading on to 60 members there, some top players in there, all having a good time, and you can, learn some good strategies and meet new friends. So be sure to join that. Okay, and then as you can probably imagine where we're going from here, the strategy that I did for 100 is going to be exactly the same, but what we are going to do is we're going to add just a few more buffs. So this is where I was at 94. Spam down a lot of overclocks as well. I got a 10 farm Monkeyopolis as well. That's suboptimal. I guess you could get an absolutely huge one on this map, to be honest. I have, a nice amount of overclocks. And then basically we're going to get just a support temple, and we're going to get a perma brew, a perma spike, and a couple deadlies as well. You don't need the deadlies, but I always like to do it just as a safety measure. Like I said, if your eco's good and you're feeling, safe on your eco, then it's always worth just to get a couple extra down on your spikes just to be safe, because the last thing you want is to have 10,000 of health left or something and you've just missed the insta-kill. Obviously, using deadlies is very scary because it's like a one-time thing. So what we're going to do is just sacrifice a balloon trap to it. Okay, the defense was super easy here. All I had was an alk buff on a 0-2-5 plane. I want to do this because I want to try and get an ace and paragon. I realized that was a futile endeavor though, because you won't actually need it. So here's what the setup looked like. We have probably about 10-12 spikes down, perma brew, all the debuffs, and there we go. So I guess it does beg the question why NK have chosen this particular boss modifiers, but I'm hoping it's because they want to try and encourage casual players to try out. So this is a great time if you're a casual player to try and master, or at least start practicing the spike insta-kills, okay? Because they will be used throughout. Now, because my eco was really quite good, well, not amazing, but compared to how dire it was, right, below 20k, because you can just save so much on the later tiers, I actually decided to get a Vengeful True Sun God down as soon as I can, okay? So I believe just at the start of 102, I will get my Vengeful True Sun God. And then the idea then is going to be the exact same. We're just going to absolutely spam as much as we can out of spikes. And then I got a Ace Paragon, an NG Paragon, and Dart Paragon as well. And all of them basically proved to be useless. But I think it was a good little backup just in case, because you never know, okay? You don't want to, like I said, just miss the insta-kill, but spikes will do it. I mean, look at this map for spikes as well. It's absolutely perfect because you can just absolutely stack them. So it is extremely fun. It's just whenever a boss event's like this, the times become super, super tight. So, yeah, I don't know where this will fare out in a couple of days. Like I said, it's second right now. I'm hoping that sub 40 seconds should stay top 50, but you never know, because people will just absolutely rinse this. And then what I did is I bought my Ace Paragon and NG Paragon down on the end of 115, so the abilities are all ready. And I got the Ace to 40 and the Engineer to degree 30. And yeah, and then we're basically just going to start getting ready to set up our spikes. Also, make sure to use some Ultra Boosts as well. I always do that just as a little safety measure. So Ultra Boost all your perma spike. And then what I do is, as well, I set up a load of overclocks so that during 119, I can just also put a little overclock on the deadly spikes. And as you can see, it looks like this. So I did actually get a bit of lag on my phone here, but this is, very satisfying to see. Obviously, it's just the exact same, right? It's just, all it is that for each tier, you just build up the amount of spikes and buffs onto them. It's nothing particularly exciting, but it's extremely satisfying. So I tried to keep down a couple farms here as well, but there was no need to whatsoever. You should be absolutely fine on your eco. And then here's what my final tier looked like. So I swapped out the deadlies for a load and load of tax, a couple sun avatars, all the debuffs down. We make sure that everything's perma-brewed as well. The more perma-brew, the better, because the range is absolutely huge right now. Make sure your ace ability is set right. It doesn't really make a difference, though, like I say, because I couldn't even tell when I was playing this round what killed what. But now that I look back on it, because it's got such low HP, the spikes do all of it. So I was trying to, be fancy. Let's try and get, Engineer to help insta-kill a bit, but it was completely futile. So you can just literally use spikes and set them up how I did, I believe. That'll be absolutely fine. And yeah, it's going to come down to milliseconds with how people push everything. But this should be a super fun run for you guys to try out. So yeah, I hope this has helped. Feel free to join the Discord chat. Of course, I did a little screenshot there because we're currently second. I'm sure that'll go down a lot though. And thanks for all the support. It means a lot, and I'll see you guys very soon.